The Skeleton Boys are here tonight to tell you about soul survivors and bad drivers and death's design. Come on! Soul survivors! Let's go! Against death's design! Soul survivors! Skeleton Boys in the house.
Hello and welcome to the Skeleton Boys, a horror movie podcast. I am Rolando.
And I am Jolando.
Gelato?
My name is Jolando.
Gelando.
No, it's Jolando, but
are we dating?
You can call me. yeah.
What the fuck?
You can call me Gelato. Actually, I like that. JHEL. Otto. There you go. I can't do all the work for the listeners. Sorry. Just call me Gelato.
Gelato it is. Should we redo the intro?
No, I think we're good. I just need somebody to go ahead and make an image of me that looks like a gelato. You don't have to do a whole lot of work because I basically look like a
gelato. What type of shape are you, gelato?
Yes. That's correct. Took many years of work on my body to look like a gelato.
True. Yet you hate Italians. It's weird. Weird. Weird that happens. And welcome to our annual spooky special, Soul Survivors, a Final Destination saga. This week we're reviewing Final Destination 5, or Five-O. It used to be Five-Null Destination was the original title, which I thought was so funny. but everybody hated it. They just went to the more simple Final Destination 5. But Five-Null Destination would have been fun for this.
Or like, what would be better alt titles? Maybe like, actually, the Final Destination? Question mark?
Yeah, just like the Back to the Future ending.
This movie is after the Final Destination.
Oh, it could be like the Friday movies. It could be next Final Destination.
That's true, yeah.
It could be.
But you also don't want to mislead, right? Because there's already a lot of misleading going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Not the fifth Final Destination, but the fifth movie in the franchise Destination. Soul image and background. This isn't People Under the Stairs, and then it's Final Destination.
No, this isn't People Under the Stairs. Yes. As always, John will give us the plot in 5 words. We give our first thoughts, then we go to do spoiler analysis. But before we do that, we go back to TV Corner. We're watching from Season 3, Episode 2, When We Go.
Oh, can I mention something real quick?
Yes.
At home, if you peruse Paul F. Tompkins, comedian extraordinaire's reels on his Instagram, you might see a J-Flow appear.
Oh, did you work with him?
Yeah, I'm working on a sort of talk show / game show that he was on. Mm-hmm. And he was recording the pre-warm-up guy, and I had to switch out set pieces. So you see me walking. I'm in the thing a lot, yeah.
So did you ask him about From? I'm just kidding.
No, but somebody pointed out it's weird that you're on Paul F. Tompkins' phone until he decides to delete that. I'm like, that's true.
That's true. He probably doesn't.
He probably was like, how do I not be creepy about this? But I'm pretty sure that's one of the Skeleton Boys right there. I'm just going to record real quick. All right.
He caught you in the wild.
Yeah, it's like, this is a rare occurrence. Especially on the Paramount lot.
There's nobody there. Nobody's even working. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, in fact, I was fully aware that I was recording because I'm like, Mr. Tompkins, we're the only 2 people here on this lot right now. So.
Yeah, he's like, I need people in the background. There's nobody around. We're just empty sets.
Hi, Mr. Peanut Butter. Okay, we'll do it. Because we all like dogs.
Yeah. No, that's not Ohio. It's a Midwest thing, clearly. Alrighty. Speaking of from, I thought this was another great episode.
Yes.
Okay. Do you concur with that?
Great episode with consistently bad acting. But
so here's the thing. Yeah. There's always going to be like little like things about From.
Yeah.
Right? There's like little like things that don't work for some reason. That they don't do always a wonderful job explaining either. There's always like weird occurrences, people, weird dialogue, weird acting choices, you know, just general, I call it like small budget TV show stuff.
Yeah, it feels very like, you know, like, hey, how do you fix this problem at work? Pizza, right? You slap a pizza on it. It's like slapping a Band-Aid. You know, some of the moments on this show, it's like, I don't know. I just think the acting is really poor. Maybe the direction. Hair New, that's the Band-Aid.
It's true,
like,
yeah.
This is great. It's a genius show, because that's the way I am all the time. I'm like, perfect episode, 10 out of 10, no complaints. Because I completely forgot about everything else.
Yeah, because then they have other moments where it's like you have great moments that really are telling this really like dark story or whatever, you know.
And then you have the little kid, yeah.
And then you got like weird acting by little kids. So it's a little hodgepodge of everything, right?
Yeah, which hopefully this little kid doesn't grow up to be like a big buff dude, because he'll kick your asses.
Like Chucky, he'd be a big buff Chucky.
Well, by the time he's like 20, I think we'll be like 90 or something, right?
So yeah, I'll be scared of everybody if I even know what's going on. 90.
I'm not racist or sexist. I'm just scared of everything.
It's like I don't see color. I don't see anything actually. So
yeah, can't be racist if I can't see shit.
But this is another. But I think what they do so well is, of course, they did the correct decision of making Harry Perrineau the star of the show. He absolutely owns every scene he's in this episode. Yes. Knocked it out of the park. Some of the best acting, dramatic, whatever is in the show because of him. Where to start? I think we should start with let me ask you this. What do you think of what's going on with Tabitha? Now, and are you surprised how much we're getting from her? She seems like she's definitely just like co-star, even though it felt like a write-off, which is what I said last week. It was like kind of, I thought going into the season, it would just kind of be a write-off of her character, you know, like maybe she'll show up every like first episode and last episode of the season. But no, she seems like she's legit in this show as a co-star, essentially. And her stories.
I mean, seems like every a character we got introduced to in the first season. I should reiterate, I'm rewatching the series with my partner right now because she had never seen this and she likes it. It seems like they're all important somehow for whatever reason. And it's really starting to debunk all our like theories about like, oh, they're probably dead or whatever. Like, because then that doesn't make any sense.
In fact, I think there's even a clearer line they're drawing now between what is actually going on.
Yes.
Even though I think the mystery of how any of that's happening won't be explained, because I don't think you can logically explain what's going on without being dissatisfied. But the purpose...
Well, it's also the way this ends is kind of like mind-boggling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because it's like definitely like they're now like really drawing that line of like purpose. Why Tabitha? We kind of get an idea why Tabitha was essentially pushed out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now it seems like, from what we gather, is that Victor's mom was painting this place, went and found it with the idea that she's supposed to like help the kids that what's his face is seeing, Jade. The kids that Jade have been seeing for the last couple of seasons. There's now needs to be a picked quote unquote savior to kind of save those kids, but there's never been one yet, and there's been like generations of since like the 1800s. Why this place has such a long history?
God, I don't want to like dismiss the importance of Tabitha. Also, I don't really care for this actress, but I feel like Jade is probably going to be the most important person in the show at some point. It just seems like it's gearing up to be that. Especially because you're starting to get way more sincere moments with him, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's making me have feelings. I'm like getting sad.
Yeah, and it seems like Tabitha kind of figured this out, and so now we're in this: who's going to be the one to save the kids and essentially probably save everybody in town?
Because the kids are definitely dead. Like they're like not. They are ghosts or something.
Yes. So whatever like evil force is here is keeping those kids and could be what the reason why this place is the way it is. Does that make sense? You know?
Yeah.
Because of they're using the kids.
Thinking about how in control whatever or whomever is in control of this place has. You remember when they built the radio tower, when Jade built the radio tower, and what's his name? The dad. Jim. Briefly talked to somebody on the phone like, you shouldn't be doing this, Jim. And then like lightning struck.
Yeah, and I did have to look it up, so I didn't know that offhand. But the person that Jim is talking to at the end of the episode, I'll just mention it briefly, is supposed to be their dead son. Yeah, which I did not gather at all.
Oh, I got that. Yeah, I was like, oh, weird. When I'm pretty sure the son died as like a baby.
Yeah, it was insane. Like I don't remember the age if they gave us an age, but it's just that he died young. He was a young death.
Like they turned around for like 2 minutes, turned around, and the kid had hung himself. No, that's fucked up. No, I don't know what happened, but the kid died. Right? Like
fell out of a balcony. Eric Clapton pushed the kid. That's what I said.
Pushing my kid out into heaven's door. It's fucked up. I love it. Fuck Eric Clapton.
Fuck Eric Clapton, yeah.
I mean, nothing against his kid. I'm sure that was a lovely child.
No, there's nothing to do with the child. It's
fucking, yeah.
Lame ass fucking Eric Clapton. But yeah, so basically, yeah, that seems to be where we're going and the purpose of Tabitha. Whether she's the one to actually save the kids or the one to bring that information to whoever is the pick, which I'm going on a limb for now and just saying that's Tabitha. That's going to be the one that's going to be responsible for saving the kids and saving everybody.
I know this would be totally like off kilter sort of choice for this show, but I want her to start to befriend nerdy conspiracy theory people. There's gonna be a coalition of people that are like, we know of this place, we don't know where it's from, and then roll credits. But like, yeah, there's a bunch of nerdy people trying to help her get it back into the town, or maybe people had escaped before too, and they're just trying to find each other.
Yeah.
Or they need to get out of the Matrix.
Is that why it's called From? Because it's kind of like you're saying, where you from?
I guess, yeah. I feel like, because that's the question for everybody, right? Like, everybody's always like, where are you from? Because nobody's from the same place.
Yeah. We're trapped there.
They're all from the U.S., which is surprising.
Is it?
Well, like, why would people disappear from the U.S. and end up in Canada? You know? No, I'm just kidding. I think
Vancouver. Where the fuck that shit? Where the fuck this shit was shot? Yeah. What else happened this episode? Fabia got sick. What were you gonna say?
She starts eating rotten food.
Yeah, she's on the vegan diet, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Very, very raw vegan diet.
Very raw vegan. No waste vegan.
But yeah, I don't understand. So you're saying there is the theories around.
Yes,
Elgin is his name, right?
Elgin, yeah.
Elgin is seeing the thing he's seeing is actually Tabitha.
So the theory is yes. So Elgin can see the future, right? Yes. And he saw before when he first arrived last season, he saw that he was going to come to that place, woke up in a panic, had like a seizure and all that stuff. And where he was last season, and what they've pointed out in this first episode, is that he again is seeing this sort of like rail thin woman in a kimono.
Yes.
And people on Reddit is where I saw it, but people on Reddit are speculating that's actually Fatmia. Which at first it sounds like kind of cruel, like, oh, there's like a skinny actress and like a very skinny bored woman.
The kimono is something we've seen before. Maybe she wore it the first time we saw her. We just don't remember.
It very well could, because she did kind of dress like that, very kind of like in those outfits the first season.
Yeah, gone, throwing up all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
speaking of that chick, I'm like, I don't understand this character. The chick that got mad at her because she needed to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I understand. She's like yelling at a pregnant woman. They're like, I don't care. That lady was probably like, I really don't give a fuck what your problem is. I've been needing to shit for like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no reason to be an asshole. I'm like, that's what happens to people. If you need to shit,
literally
you
just she could have gone into the woods, dug her hole, and shat herself at the fucking middle of the woods. She really had to go. She was just being a bitch.
Shit wherever you want to. Like, shit yourself in that. There are these things that are going to rip you apart outside. Just shit where you want. Who cares?
Who cares?
The land's dying anyway. Just shit.
But it kind of makes sense. And like, the fact that she can't eat, she clearly isn't. This is not going to be a normal pregnancy. Clearly, there's something wrong with her because she's eating rotten food. It almost seems like that rotten food was made that way for her. That whatever this evil thing is going on is taking care of that kid. And remember, Boyd did kill one of them last season.
Yes.
So maybe they're replacing it with whatever. It's an eye for an eye situation.
Oh, shit. And rotten food generally has what, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary pals? Worms. They're going to give her wormies. They're the only thing that kill these things.
But it seems like that definitely is. I don't know if it's how long that's gonna play out, but clearly she's having a very like a natural pregnancy, probably a natural birth, and she'll probably either die or birth one of these fucking weird sicko things that are under the ground or something.
Yeah. I think like a good chunk of the episode also focuses on okay, so they find the crops, right? They're bringing back crops.
Right, so Jade and Kenny, when they wake up, they see that there's all these patches of crops and everything. Yeah.
No, not Jade, Jim, right?
Jim, yes.
And Kenny, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he comes back, finds out his mother had died. He still doesn't know everything. I don't think everybody knows everything. That's the thing. For some reason, they're writing the daughter to be really shitty about everything right now. It's like, mom's gone and dad, you suck. It's like, we've established this. Just chill out. Everybody's in this together.
Well, I'll give her this. I think that she is. I think her the what's her name? Christie's girlfriend, former girlfriend. What's her name? She played Doctor this past episode. Mari.
Yes.
Mari, the young actress. Julie and Fatmia were all under the spell, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
From last season. Who's to say this is sort of the after effects of that, right? Like, because there were no repercussions. They just kind of like, Boyd destroyed the music box, and then they weren't being, haunted by whatever it was that they were seeing anymore.
Yeah.
So we should suspect maybe something's going on with those three, because it's kind of just ended. But who's to say there isn't like lingering effects to it? But also you can chalk it up to Julie being upset that the mom's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can also kind of...
There's also like, this is very, Lost-ish, right? It's becoming
Yes,
more
1000%.
and more and more Lost-ish.
Yes. I'm loving every second of it.
Because it's just creating more questions every single episode. Like we have already forgotten the whole like Boyd randomly found these talisman. We're not even questioning the validity of these things actually working.
I kind of feel like that will kind of play itself out because I think those are easy answers, right? Because clearly he's the one that figured it out. So they didn't have to live underground anymore. And then that's why they all live in buildings and stuff like that, houses and stuff. And that kind of caught us up to when the Matthews family first showed up in the first episode. But I feel like that's going to be a quick answer because it definitely seems like there's good things, good evil. There's like evil shit going on there. And there's also good people there also, right? There's like good spirits because you have like the little boy helping Tabitha, pushing her out of the lighthouse.
Yeah, classic helping people out.
Leaving her, getting her out and help. And then you have the three kids. Seems to be important.
I just, do you think there would be, if the show ends, the next show would be Victor surviving as a child basically by himself for a long time? Because I need to understand how he lived so long.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like not explained very much, but
he just figured it out, and he's got a horrible case of Arrested Development.
Yeah, he's probably the oldest person there, I imagine, right? That is in the main cast that we've met.
I would guess so, or if anything, he's about the same age as Boyd and Donna.
Right? Yeah, but they just came later.
Yeah.
But
they're probably generally about the same age, the mid-50s or something.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny's remorse, and Kenny, that whole thing about asking what's her name, Dr. Chick, that isn't
Christy. Yeah.
Just kind of dressing her up. She's not a mortician. Jade helps her. I thought that was really sweet. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really sweet seeing when Christy walks in and Jade is there like holding Kenny's mom's hand, and just like she was the only person that treated me with kindness, to be quite honest. Like I know I was a jerk, blah blah blah. I thought that was really nice. They help kind of dress her up so she doesn't look like she got ripped apart. Mm-hmm. And I thought all that was really sweet because I had gotten a certain text from a certain Rolando about just bawling his eyes out, and I was like, I'm not catching it. And then there's a fucking scene. I'm assuming this is what it was, right? Kenny and Boyd. Kenny's like, yes. I'm gonna go burn these fucking things. I'm gonna take all this fucking like alcohol. I'm gonna set every single one of them on fire until they're all dead. And Boyd was like, I'll help you. Let's go. I'll help you because I feel responsible. I help you. Blah blah blah. And he asked something kind of like, because I don't want to know, but like they probably tortured her, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, I was there. They made me watch. She was so strong. She looked me in the eye. She was so strong. And she kept repeating a phrase over and over again. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. And he just starts bawling. And how he explains, like, she's saying, please take care of him because now he's alone. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
That got me hard. Like, oh, shit. God damn.
I'm a pervert for this drama. Yeah.
Like that was heavy. I was like, holy, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, because I was
alone, and then they decide not to go through with the plan, right? Because it's pointless.
Yeah, and I like that because it's like he's throwing his life away, right? So, and I like that because like in the beginning of the episode, they find Boyd and he's just mouthing something. We don't even know what it is. I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah, it's really.
He was telling himself so he could remember how to say it, so he could tell Kenny. And I love that. It's just like, Boyd's like, yeah, you want to do this? Let's go do it. And then, like you said, like, and then he tells him this is what she said. And that kind of brings him to reality, right? That like, he's just throwing his life away at that point. He's not going to do anything. That's not what his mother wanted. So yeah. And I was, oh wow, what a scene. And then you have the big, funeral scene also.
Which was coinciding with Victor's dad showing, what's her name? Tabitha, right?
Tabitha, the basement.
The paintings that his wife made, and they all like, interconnect with like everybody's once in a while somebody's chosen.
Yep. And that's what Jade has been seeing. He's been seeing like soldiers and like different people, the trees where they were also, there's a lot of little like Easter eggs in that scene. So yeah, great episode.
And then what's his name? Ellis, right? Boyd's son.
Mm-hmm.
Finally talks to Boyd after coming back, which I'm starting to think like, I know they had their falling out or whatever. I'm like, Ellis is kind of a shitty son. Not like I'm the best son, so I'll be honest. But goes and talks to him after the funeral, and oh my god, that's what I'm saying. Like the acting is so top notch whenever it's fucking Harold Perrineau. He's like not really paying attention to Ellis, and Ellis is like, Dad, like, are you okay? And finally touches his shoulder, and Harold Perrineau kind of looks at him for a second and goes like, no, I'm not fucking good. I'm not. And then I thought this was the way it was going to end, where he's just like, I need you to do this, this, and this for tomorrow, okay? For tomorrow. And he's like, okay, but why, Dad? I was like, we're going to catch one of these fucking things. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm excited for that.
Yep.
And then right when you think like, no, that's a pretty good way to end it, they're all walking away, and Jim, Julie, and whatever that stupid kid is, Julie and the kid decide to go make sure the cows
or something, whatever. Get them away from the house. Yeah.
And at this point, understandably, Jim, who has been a shitty dad, is just like, I give up. What? Not like he gives up, but he's just like, whatever. You got to do what you need to do. Just like, please be back before dark, for obvious reasons. And phone call from his dead son, who also grew up dead, has grown and aged in death.
Exactly. So this place is definitely has their eyes set on Jim, right? It seems more apparent now.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Roller coaster.
Yeah. Great episode. Anchored by a great performance by Harold Perrineau, as always. And like I said,
too much Donna.
Not too much Donna. She seems a little on the side right now, but I'm sure that's going to change. Especially since they're going to have to make a decision of like who gets to move, whether everybody's going to move into that area that has like the vegetables and stuff. It seems like people are going to move out there. That's true. Spread out.
You know what? I will say there was a moment. That's why I question Donna's loyalties, because she was like, and what did you do, Boyd? And it's like, he's like, I went to go save the cow. And he was like, was it worth it? Blah, blah, blah. We're all we have, blah, blah, blah. But that is like literally earlier in the episode, the last episode, her talking about we're fucking starving. We need all the cattle we need and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what are you doing to Boyd? It seems like you're mind fucking him.
Fucking gaslighting him up.
Yeah. It's like, that's why I'm like, there's something fishy about Donna. I know she's not stupid. So like,
maybe, that in retrospect, that is a weird reaction considering what she said the previous episode. Like,
and it's also like she has no qualms about filleting up that one cow that got killed by the things, which I'm like, I don't know if I would eat that. Mostly because I'm a vegan, but no.
I was gonna say,
no, but like there's something about like these things, right? They are rotten, or there's something weird about them. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't. It'd be hard eating there. Period. Alrighty. Yes, very interesting. As we continue from 2 episodes in, I feel like we're like full steam ahead. I think we can definitely have a revving up. It's getting its like footing, and it's going to start speeding up a little bit. So,
and also because I read the quick plot outline synopsis for the next episode.
Oh,
it didn't give any spoilers, but it did say that Tabitha is going to have a mind-boggling revelation. So.
She's, I don't know, what could that be?
Dead. No,
right. Okay. Let's move over to our main review. Actually,
FD5.
FD5. Let me take you back to a magical place of the year 2011 first.
2011.
A totally memorable year.
I was in Texas for a good chunk of the year, and then I whisked myself off to California.
That's right. You made the big plunge. Drove out here. Hope and a dream.
Yeah, it was a pretty horrible time. Full of magic. Magic
It was
Stick.
magical, though. I was in a magical town.
Magic Stick, because that's a very long time ago now.
Yes. So you should know what the number one song of the year was.
I don't fucking remember.
Just think, like, it's always, so far, what's proven out, it's always going to be the biggest pop hit you could imagine.
It's got to be a handful of things, because I do remember my playlist from that era. Is it M83's Midnight City?
No, it is not.
Is it Lana Del Rey's Video Games?
No, it is not.
Damn.
I would say even go more mainstream, because even though you're saying popular bands that have a great following and everything, but you got to go like up the next tier.
Was it Imagine Dragons?
No, it wasn't. But were they around then?
Yeah,
I don't
think so. So it wasn't the Killers, right?
It was not the Killers.
I guess that was before. Yeah.
It's very like your parents would listen to this. Very safe, contemporary pop music artist. Would it be a hint if I give you a gender?
It's a female.
It's a female. Yes.
So is it like Shania Twain?
Not okay. Well, this is not American. Not American.
Oh, Kylie Minogue.
No.
She's the only other person on earth.
Did you know?
Oh, was it Adele?
Adele. Yes.
Oh, shit, Rolling in the Deep?
Yeah, it sounds like Sounds like you're looking it up.
No. I hate to admit this because I actually do like. I'll know Adele songs.
Yeah.
That is the only Adele song title I know because there was a series of memes called "Rolling in the Derp" and they would like derp her face. And that's the only reason I know that song title.
But see, you got one right.
I got it.
You got it.
It only took 5 Final Destination movies.
Yeah. This one might be a little harder, but I think you can probably take some guesses. What was the highest grossing movie of 2011?
2011.
I'll say this. It's something you're not a fan of.
Oh, so it wasn't a Batman movie.
No.
Because I was going to guess it was The Dark Knight, but I think that came out a little bit later.
The last one may have, yeah. Rises, right?
Was it a Twilight movie?
It was not a Twilight movie.
Was it a franchise movie?
It is a franchise movie.
It's not another Transformers movie, is it?
It's not a Transformers movie.
So one of the Divergent movies? No, those failed miserably, right?
They still made all of them, right? They made like 4 of them, I thought. Anyways.
I don't think they finished the series, but yeah.
Also not American.
Not American. So Harry Potter, huh?
Yeah, Harry Potter. Which one, though?
I'm a fan of Harry Potter. So
shit, you hate fantasy and stuff, don't you?
No, I read all the books, and then I read the books about the books. Like, I was a huge fan. So if this is 2011, it had to have been... it's not Order of the Phoenix, is it? No. That came out before.
No.
Oh, shit, it's one of the last ones. Is Half-Blood Prince? Part 1?
It is not the Half-Blood Prince. Half-Blood Prince is one movie.
Oh, my bad. I like to pretend it's 2. Okay. Then am I wrong? How far off am I in Order of the Phoenix?
You're not far off at all.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the next one. What's the next one called?
Order of the Phoenix, and then... Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank. So it's definitely before Half-Blood Prince, right? Because that's the one that caps it. Damn, I'm blanking. This is stupid, because I can tell you... Let's start with the second one. So it's Chamber of Secrets, and then it's... Oh,
man, I got to think about it. I haven't thought about these movies.
I know. So,
Let's do it. Sorcerer's Stone.
Sorcerer's Stone. Chamber of Secrets. Oh my God, the one
Azkaban,
Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire,
Order of the Phoenix,
and then
Prince, Half-Blood Prince, the last one. There's only 7, right? That's 7.
Oh my God, yeah. What's the last fucking?
Deathly Hallows.
Part
2,
where they find all 3 of the things. Yeah. No, it was.
I didn't know you're a Potterhead. Huh.
Yeah, I was super into it. I really wanted the fucking Deathly Hallows tattoo when the first thing came out, but glad I did it. I'm not a fan of the author.
Yeah, because I made you, for one of my birthdays, I made you and Stouffer go to Harry Potter Land or whatever, the Hogwarts.
Oh, yeah.
We got wands. That was fun.
No, I was such a fan. I had a friend one birthday gift me a toad because I was super like, Trevor was my favorite character, even though he's only in the first like 2-3 books. Neville Longbottom has a pet toad in the books that disappears. It's like not important to the story, so they stop writing about it.
Wow, I just assumed you hated all fantasy. It's just Lord of the Rings. You hate Lord of the Rings. Is that?
I don't hate Lord of the Rings. I'm not as big of a fan as most people.
But see, I thought I'm not the only one to say this, right? Your partner has said as much as well, right? Like,
well, I feel like the super fans like yourself, whenever I'm like, oh, I don't really love it, you're like, oh, you fucking hate it. I'm like, okay. I just don't love it that much. Like, oh, okay. You don't know shit about it. I'm like, I didn't say that either.
So you say you fucking gonna take a giant shit all over the front. You hate the fucking movies. You know, you're lukewarm on the movies then, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did see them all in theaters. I mean, to be fair, I didn't see the Martin Freeman.
Right, The Hobbit. The Hobbit one. Yeah, that wasn't very good. None of it. Those were good. Terrible movies.
Yeah, I remember.
You're just not
I saw the movies were good.
You're just not a giant Lord of the Rings fan.
No,
you're just, and we're like, what do you mean? It's so funny.
And the third one wasn't even like you know how it became meme worthy because of how long it was and how it didn't end. I was one of the people that when I saw it, I was like, I felt like this movie ended like 18 times. I needed to piss all 18 times. Like I was like, just let me out of this 3-hour. I need to pee.
Well, I just like the fact that like they wanted to cover the Silmarillion, you know, and I thought that was a good idea because naturally you would have finished with what is it? Fucking, oh my God, I'm forgetting everybody's name. Viggo Mortensen's character becoming king, and then that big thing like you guys are more we will bow to you, the hobbits and stuff like that, and he made everybody. As his first order as king, make everybody bow to hobbits and stuff. So it's a little weird. And for what they had done. And that's like the perfect, like, Star Wars big celebration ending. Yeah. Movie ending. But I like that Peter Jackson attempted something different because he had the pull and the clout to say, like, get back to the ideas of Tolkien and like the Silmarillion and like things are rough and these guys are like veterans of war and they're having PTSD and they're having all of this like these things. And so like they briefly touched upon it at the suspense of what you would consider a more happy fairy tale ending.
And unlike Star Wars, right? Like they're like, hey, everybody celebrated, everybody gets a medal. And in Star Wars, like, hey, you get a medal, Chewbacca, fuck you, dog.
Well, he got his medal in the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, that's right.
In retrospect, I know everybody was happy about that. It's just I saw it recently. It's so stupid. Yeah. Like this, what is this? This is just so ham-fisted in here, dude. The moment.
For sure. Chewbacca gives a flying fuck about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that was the sort of the bigger thing he was trying to say with that moment, you know. But anyways, what are we talking about? The year 2011. 2011. All right. One last question. What was the highest grossing horror movie?
Final Fantasy V.
I don't.
What came out in 2011? Shit, was it a Saw movie?
It was not a Saw movie, but it is a movie part of a franchise.
2011. Was it The Conjuring?
It was not The Conjuring.
Interesting, but it's not Insidious either, right? No, that came out before.
Insidious did come out this year, though.
Oh, it did.
It did, but it's actually number 2.
Interesting.
Yes, so
it's not one of the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, is it?
Absolutely not. I would totally just dismiss it off the list if it was.
Yeah, people like.
I would not ask that question. Yeah.
Even John Carpenter was like, "Why?" Anyway,
he's probably like, "Just cashing checks, bro. Who cares?"
Yeah. No, because they asked like, "How'd you feel about Rob Zombie's movie?" He's like, "I don't know why he tried to go into Michael Myers' history. That was stupid." He like vocally said that.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't ask him to do that. I don't like it. Okay. Horror movie franchise.
Mm-hmm. It's one you've seen. I can say that.
Hostel?
No.
Oh,
Is Hostel a franchise? They've made like 2 of them, right? 3 of them?
Like 3. Yeah.
2 sucked.
Yeah, it's weird. Is it a remake or is it like a...
It's actually the 3rd movie in the franchise. Would not be the last.
Paranormal Activity.
Yes.
Part 3.
Part 3, yes. Highest grossing movie. Which one was that? That was...
I think it was one of the stupid ones. I think that's where I was like, oh, what the fuck is this?
Which one's the 3rd one? We definitely saw it and reviewed it last year.
I want to say it's the one with the Xbox Connect, right?
I thought that was the 4th one.
Oh.
Maybe that's the 3rd one. It was the one... But is this the one that was before the house? The family before the house, they bought it, right?
I want to say yes, because I think starting the 3rd one, they were all prequels. Because the 2nd one ended with, what's her name from the 1st movie coming back to kill people.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay. It was Paranormal Activity 3. And... Our movie here, Final Destination 5, was the 3rd highest grossing movie that year.
Interesting.
So,
I mean, as I was watching it, I remembered some of it, but I realized I forgot a lot of this.
This is my first viewing. I had never seen it. I pretty much stopped watching these after 3. I hadn't seen 4 and I hadn't seen 5 yet. And I think I had read about the twist, which kind of like made me think like, oh man, that's so cool. Which we'll get into, you know what I mean? But first, John, do you want to give us the plot in 5 words?
Johnny. 5 word plot summary. Rolando, drum roll, please. For FD5, coming in at number 3, Tony Todd doesn't need de-aging.
No shit.
That's all I got for plastic. No, I'm just kidding.
He's very problematic in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Considering what happens at the end, we won't spoil it. We'll talk about that in detail, but it's problematic. But go ahead.
Coming in at number 2 for FD5, The Final Destination, Episode 1. I'm having trouble figuring out which one I want first. And for number 1, for my plot summary of Final Destination 5, Death takes on Dunder Mifflin.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Destination 5. I think we know the formula already, right? So, premonition. Yeah, everybody.
Yes. Clearly, Death's just fucking with people. I think it's just like a side gig he has. Like, I don't
yeah.
I mean, I think I know what you're talking about the end, but then I thought about it because I was a little confused about something. Okay. But I think I figured it out.
Okay. Before we get there, I just want to say...
This movie felt really dated, right?
Oh, no way.
Spoiler. I'm just kidding.
I think, like, for me, this movie is about as close you're going to get to, like, a movie that pays homage to the series as a whole.
Yeah, I was going to say it's as close as we're going to get to being as good as the first one. I even want to say it's a little bit better than the second one because the second one got kind of like
it might mirror down.
Yeah,
because like it hasn't been. So what I think this movie does so well is that it definitely pays like it's a love letter homage to all of the movies, yet still brings new ideas to this franchise.
Yeah,
new things, especially the ending, the between the not the actual ending, but what happens to one of the characters is something new to this franchise. When one of the characters essentially turns into like a killer, like an antagonist killer, which I'd never seen before. And this is the idea that briefly they talked about in 2 about a life for a life or something, only twisted a little bit, which I think was actually a nice surprise. And of course, even in my opinion, even the idea that a lot of the characters are kind of aware of what's going on, the ones that are saved, right?
Yeah.
They were like, I'm getting bad vibes, or I'm like, oh, this is like a bad thing. Like we had never really seen before in this series. So I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think this is probably one of the better ones in the series. And
there's only one thing that the second one did, where our main person is like, oh, I think this person might have been next to go or whatever. And I was like, how could you have possibly seen that? Unless they're watching all these things play out in like a third person perspective, which I don't think they are.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the second one, remembering that the woman that gave birth never actually died. Like, how do you know that? You were already dead. And then in this one, what's his name? The guy from The Boys, the kind of womanizer dude.
The character's name was Isaac.
Isaac. Mm-hmm. He died in the bus, so there's no way that he knew he died. You see what I'm saying? Like, unless he saw him go splat or drown or anything like that, he had no clue that he died.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
So and then that happened in the second one too. It was like, there's no way this woman saw that person live or this person die.
I think she did. If we're talking about the second one, I think she did see the pregnant woman die.
No, because she didn't. You remember the reveal at the end was like, oh, she never died. She was watching us from the side.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? Like there's like those moments where I'm like, this is gonna bug me for like a dumb reason. It doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna pick up on this, but
Isaac just chose to get off the bus. We know his fate. Sam, who has the premonition, is what you're saying, wouldn't know Isaac died.
Yes.
He just assumed because they all seem to have died, right? Like that's why he has the premonition.
Yeah.
But yes, Isaac went to the bathroom and then he didn't leave the bathroom. He fell off the bridge. Right?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
He fell to the bus fell and he fell to the thing and splatted into the water. Yes.
See, but Sam didn't tell Isaac to get off the bus. Isaac just got off the bus.
Correct.
He was more concerned about his immediate friends, his girlfriend that just broke up with him, his friend boss, Peter, and then like his girlfriend and stuff like that. And then the other
also,
people came.
David Koechner, who's like the head of the thing, I think told Isaac like, hey, we need to make sure he's not a liability, so go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But aside from that, I thought the movie was super enjoyable.
So it's more like what you're saying is like Sam I don't quite know how to frame it, the question I was going to ask. Like Sam didn't pick these people to be alive. They were just alive, right? Because like they just decided to go with him. It could have been anybody, right? Theoretically.
Yes. What I'm saying is, I think, unless I'm mistaken, I think he had already figured out, like, I think this person's going to die next or whatever, and this person's going to die after that. And it was like, he wouldn't know the order of those people. He would know the order of like maybe the last like 4 people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. How they died in order. And we saw the order, right? Because like with this, okay.
I might have been mistaken. They might have like cleverly worded it like, oh, I didn't know Isaac would have been next or something.
Yeah, they're playing kind of fast and loose with that. It like since the first movie, in my opinion, they that idea that they kill people in order. You know what I mean?
Again,
like,
I think one of the smartest choices this franchise did was lose the death design fucking like phrasing because that was getting annoying.
Yeah, no, yeah. In retrospect, I always thought that was one of the coolest things in the first movie
because it sounds cool, but when you say it 1,000 times in the next movie, it's like okay.
Having to make a franchise, yeah, exactly. Having to make a franchise out of it is kind of like that's troublesome, right? Like, it's not your like writing with limitations. Like, it has to be. You always have to play out the same things, the same scenarios and stuff. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Which the cool thing I think they did in this movie was there wasn't the whole. There were no real premonitions. Just the thing at the beginning. There would be maybe lights flickering, and you'd make assumptions or like something like that, but not. I'm seeing visions of something, so nobody knew what was going to happen.
Right, yeah. I did like that the gymnast felt like, everything just feels off today. You know what I mean? Kind of like foreshadowing her death, which is like, that's a little different from what little twist on what we normally get.
And that is one scene. So I follow, obviously, I'm going to get suggested a lot of horror movie accounts on Instagram or TikTok. And that is one that is frequent. I've seen that scene 1,000 times.
The gymnast,
mostly because like it keeps leading up to like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. Oh, this is what's gonna happen. But no, she just fucking like
very smart, very playful, right? The fact that we should probably say before we say that, like, there was a bridge collapse, which is what happened.
Oh yes,
stuff like that.
Which has been credited. You saw that, right? It's been credited as the longest opening sequence of a final movie.
Yes, yeah, and this is one of I believe James Cameron people who got the franchise.
Oh,
the director of this one.
Did that person famously shoot the bridge scene in
Avatar?
No, in True Lies.
Oh no, I think he did. From the thing I read, he did Titanic and Avatar camera units. One of them, okay. Yeah. So it's kind of like his experience. So getting back to like she was the first death, right? The gymnast.
Yeah,
I believe she was because I think then Isaac and then the other girl as well. Candace, I think is her name. Was it Candace?
Yes, with the LASIK thing, and then she like. That's what I was saying. I was like, I think the science behind LASIK is like the laser's not strong enough to do that, but.
What is it operated by death? I don't think so.
That's true. Yeah, it's got an immense amount of energy.
Death does.
Death's like level 5 million.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing was like they got the Chucky fucking treatment, and she was strong enough and had the force enough to fly out of windows that are
that's true.
Very strong windows.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one thing that didn't work is that they were trying to mirror the deaths of how they would have died on the bus to how they were killed here, and that was one thing where she did fall. Right, she fell to her death in the lake or whatever that from the bridge. And that's an idea that is like sort of hinted on, but then never fully like explored any deeper than that. But
she loses her eye.
She loses her eye.
Her good eye.
Yeah. But yeah, I did love the way they built the tension of that. You think it's she's gonna step on this tack and fall off the balancing board. No, you know what I mean? Or she's gonna get electrocuted from this leaky air condition.
Throws a towel right on the.
Throws a towel on it. Yeah, that was again the fun twist on expectations for how she's gonna die. She dies gruesomely. I couldn't even tell how she died, to be honest. Like the way her body contorted and snapped.
Even the guy that was investigating how she died was like when Courtney Vance, what's his right? What's the middle initial? Anyway,
Courtney B. Vance. Yeah.
When he's like, "Oh, so how did this happen?" He's like, "I couldn't tell you. I could try to recreate this 1,000 times, and it would never be exactly how this happened." Like, okay.
She's essentially like she jumps off the what are those called? Uneven bars, and she like basically like smashes all her insides and like compresses them, kind of like a accordion.
Yeah, she falls upside down with such force that she like crumples her body in half, and like because the water dripping from the condenser AC unit drips in like the girl next to her's eye, and she knocks over the chalk for their hands and it blows right in her face. She just becomes a little pile of bones and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh, it was interesting and rough and
That's probably
fun.
the most gruesome death. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought the next one was also pretty bad too, with the acupuncture. Isaac,
yeah.
the character or whatever, kind of a loser douchebag. Steals a day spa thing, right? So one of his dead coworkers, and then he goes and he tries to get acupuncture, and that's where he dies. He falls on him, he already has all the acupuncture on him, and he falls on the needles, which is of course again great. That's what everybody thinks when you see this done.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's immediately the first thing you think of. And supposedly this is based on something that actually happened to a guy.
Oof. Did he die or he just got hurt?
I think he just got hurt. Yeah. From what I recall, he may have. I don't know the story offhand, but yeah, I know it's based on that. But he ended up burning alive or whatever, right? Instead, Isaac.
No, you remember he was talking shit about Buddha needing to slow down on rice cakes.
Oh yeah.
The fire was about to get him, and he was able to crawl into a corner. And he looks up, and the Buddha statue comes and crushes his head.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
And then it goes into a weird series of Tony Todd has more screen time in this one than any of the other ones he's been in.
This is where again, I want Tony Todd returns, right?
Yes.
But what he does specifically, I feel, kind of changes the first movie a little bit, but that's a spoiler. We can go into the fact that the Nathan also, who worked in the factory or whatever, has that confrontation with the worker or the union worker. The union worker dies. He doesn't. And he lives.
But then there's the twist reveal.
Yes.
I had to think about this one.
Yes, yeah. It's just, to me, that's just a Final Destination fun that they generally have with this series, in my opinion. His death.
Oh, but I mean, it justifies why people don't survive.
Yeah. But then I want to get to I think the best part, I think this is the twist, the new wrinkle that they played upon, is the fact that Peter and Sam are best friends or whatever. Peter's girlfriend dies. She was dating the gymnast, right?
Yes.
She dies, and he kind of goes, you kind of see it through the whole movie. He kind of goes a little crazy. He is going, with different deaths and then different, people going on. And then why is it that it's happening to him? He's so he kind of turns turns evil, right? Because they kind of decide, without it being confirmed, right? The movie never confirms it, decides that it's life for a life, that if he kills Sam or Sam's girlfriend, then that will kind of spare him from his death.
Which also wouldn't have worked out because of the information you get at the end of the movie. Which also I got to add, in the opening premonition scene, there is a part where Peter and what's that guy's name? What's the main guy's name?
Sam.
Yeah, Sam and Peter are oh, the bridge collapsed in this one area. So they Spider-Man / Olympic energy and efficiency jump a gap and land on the fence. I was like, what the fuck was that? What did I just watch? What CGI bullshit just appeared on my screen? But he goes a little nutty. He wants to kill. He talks about how he almost killed a bunch of people, but he's just going to go through with it.
Yeah, and I like that, for one, that we haven't seen this yet, right? This perspective. It's a nice twist on the of this franchise. And it's un unconfirmed if this even works. We don't even know if it works yet. We don't even know if the idea of a life for a life eventually, the only clear through line is that death's going to get you eventually, right? He's going to kill you at some point. And I I'm totally spacing on the boss's death. He died suddenly, right?
Yeah, he got a... He goes, because at the paper company in the warehouse area, which is very industrial for some reason. I don't understand why it's so industrial for a paper company. He goes down there to talk about how the union guy had died, and something that had been broken shoots like a sort of rod or something straight into his head.
That's right.
David Koechner's character. Yeah.
David Koechner's character. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because of the accident.
He's somebody I've worked with before too, and I'm just gonna say he's a fucking really pleasant, wonderful guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the cameras are not rolling, it doesn't matter who's around them. He likes to make people laugh, just to make the day go by.
Yeah, I think he. Oh man, I could be wrong, so I don't want to like say this. That I think he quit alcohol. Now he's clean and like he's much happier. I believe it was him. So.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense. I think
a little positive story from that, you know.
For most people, for most actors that stay in the business that long, eventually go sober. I think.
Yeah.
What happens? Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of covers the majority of the movie.
Yeah, you want to go into spoilers so we can try to hash out what the hell Death's design is?
Yes, because I think the spoiler is probably the thing that. Even for the time, I think it was like this big, like, what? This movie's, what's happening? Why is it, like, they did what? Like, it became like a kind of a thing people talked about when it came out. So let's do that. Let's go into spoilers now.
Wait! No, stop talking, guys. Stop the podcast. Please stop the podcast. Because we're about to go into spoilers.
So I said the movie's dated because even while I was watching it, I'm like, this doesn't feel like a movie from 2011.
Right.
It feels at the very least, a decade older.
Because
I knew the twist. I was paying attention to the cars that are there. Nobody's got a smartphone. The LASIK procedure is a little outdated. You know, like a lot of the stuff, like even when Isaac is stealing stuff from his dead coworkers' desks, like coins, and he hurts himself, which is supposed to be, I think, foreshadowing that he gets stabbed with a thumbtack, trying to pull out a gift certificate. When you look at the gift certificate, it says October 1st, 2001, not 2011.
Yep.
And he goes to the place and the certificate still works.
All things you would have missed, right? Because you're thinking this is a sequel. But in fact, this is a prequel.
A prequel, yes.
They shamalama ding donged us.
They sure did.
So,
yeah.
It's completely.
And they keep hinting at it too. It's like, oh, he's gonna get this apprenticeship in Paris. Like it's super important that he's gonna go to Paris, but he doesn't want to.
I was
reading, leave it to a woman. No, I'm just kidding. It
was pointed out to me that like the restaurant, the same restaurant that they were eating out, they were having. It was pointed out to me that it's the same name of the restaurant, that the sign that fell and killed Kerr Smith, that's the restaurant that we end on in the first movie. So
there's also the name of the restaurant, something that ends with an O space 18, and if you flip that, it's like 180 something, blah blah blah.
And they even lay into like the chef or whatever that is helping Sam is French. Right, like it's kind of like small, subtle hints, which I think is like masterfully done because you're not paying attention to any of these things. You just think like, oh, this is just a sequel to another franchise. You know what I mean?
They also drop like really cool Easter eggs, like the rebellious woman that works at the paper company, the one that dies from LASIK or not LASIK, falls out the window. She accidentally cracks out. She accidentally cracks a photo framed of her and some other coworker, and it's just like her part like broken. But that's the ride, the devil ride from the third movie. Sorry.
Right.
And then sorry. What?
No, I was gonna say even the title sequence that was supposed to be the 3D part of this, they're all scenes done. They're all the death scenes for all the movies done in that sort of like computer graphic Mortal Kombat looking design that 4 ended on and started with. They kind of bring it back, but has all of the movies, which is why I think is
in the end credits. It's the same thing, but the actual scenes, which I was like, oh, that's fun. Yeah,
this movie, brilliant idea in my opinion of trying to just like bringing it all around, bringing it like if this franchise, we know that there's going to be a 6th movie, right? Bloodlines or something. But if this series were to finish, we finally have come full circle, right? If we're back to the first movie, which I think is great. You know what I mean? And the way they paid homage, the way they did new twist on this series.
Because I think he's on the flight, which I was a little confused because that was not Devon Sawa. They pulled off the plane.
They pulled off Kerr Smith, which is the hint.
Yeah, yeah. But then there was like, I think the second person that they're pulling off, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be Devon Sawa, right?
Yes, because they got in a fight. Yeah,
interesting. He's blonde, but it's not Devon Sawa.
No, you can't afford Devon Sawa. Come on now. He's doing Chucky. He's doing Chucky forever.
He's doing Chucky. Which I got to point out, when this movie came out 2011, The Walking Dead had already been out for a year, which is kind of weird to think about.
Yeah. So Sam and I think Molly, right, is the girl's name. They ended up surviving because Peter, their friend, tries to kill them at a restaurant, but he ends up dying. And Sam and Molly
kills him, right?
Yeah, and Sam gets the apprenticeship to go to France at the restaurant, and Molly goes with him to France, and of course that's the flight from the first movie.
Because in theory, Molly, if she had just stayed where she was at, Canada. No, I'm just kidding. I keep forgetting where it's supposed to be, but they shot everything in Canada. She probably would have just survived. She would have just been living her life if she didn't have decided to come with him, I think.
It's not part of Death's design, though. So, so they ended up boarding the flight, and it's a nice little like nod to the first movie. They end up dying horrifically, burning alive on the flight that Devon Sawa gets taken off of, which is kind of weird. Don't you think that there's like all of these, it poses the question, like there's like, how do these premonition things work? Like, how come he didn't get one? That's
why I think it's just Death fucking with people. I think it's just Death is bored, and it's like as soon as he's gonna end one cycle of things, he's like, let me fuck with these people. But
then that's what I mean. Like Devon Sawa, it almost seems like a longer game he's playing, right? Because then Devon Sawa gets a premonition and gets taken off.
Yeah,
and then it kind of
it's like, I think he's like, this is gonna end. This has played out its course. So how about we start another movie?
And I think quickly, like to mention, the Tony Todd gets this huge scene where he kind of lays out everything, and he's just doing the Tony Todd amazing thing that he does, and he's voicing it. But the reason why I say it's like problematic or doesn't really sync up is because like in the first movie, he was kind of like not aware. He's kind of playing it like he knows some things, but he's not really sure about it in the first Destination movie. This one, he's like, no, it's this, it's all this. Like he knows, he's like following them. He's like more. So it's like for him, unless there's two Tony Todds, like.
Well, you could also chalk it up to he's being careful not to fuck with Death's design, quote unquote. Because if he hadn't told these kids, or I keep calling them kids, we're so used to them being teens. They were adults that worked at a paper company.
That's true. Yes.
Which they were all played by young people. They're slightly older than the people in the last movie on paper, like on their IMDb profile. But anyway, if he hadn't told him that guy wouldn't have gone a little off and tried to kill other people, and they know that he killed the Courtney B. Vance.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's just like, let me make sure I'm not somebody that is a part of Death's design.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it just rang a little untrue. Like, as cool we'll see Tony Todd do his thing after being a part of this franchise, since the first movie. Having this big, long explanation and stuff like that for these characters, I thought was awesome. I just don't think it, like, quite doesn't mirror where his character's at in the first movie either. Oh, yeah. So Sam and Molly get burned alive. Actually, Molly, like, flies out of the fucking plane and gets...
She gets, like, snapped in half by something, or something falls in her. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then Sam like burns alive, but then we get one little tag at the end where his Nathan, is like, oh, I'm alive or something at a coffee shop. I'm living it. I'm living my best life.
No, he's at a bar. It's like a little wake for the union worker.
That's right. Yeah.
And he's like, thanks for coming. I know he wasn't an easy guy to work with, but better this way, right? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, he had a blood vessel in his brain that was about to burst any day and giving an aneurysm. He was going to die at any moment. So he didn't find somebody that would have replaced him.
Right, yeah.
Incidentally. So he was going to die anyway. The thing that bothers me about this is a plane part falls from that plane and smushes him, which I think would have been a weird coincidence because in the first movie, they kind of established that all the plane fell into the river as to not kill anybody else by accident, I think.
No, you're right, yeah.
I don't know. Well,
no, you're right, yeah. Yeah, there's like little things. It's a really cool idea. Is it like perfectly executed? Of course not. No, I don't think it is.
No. But it is, I will say, my second favorite movie in the franchise.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to move over to
10 out of 10? No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go ahead and rate it, John. Then, how many sexy spooky bones do you want to give it?
How many sexy spooky bones will you give it? Sexy bones. Ooh, sexy bones. Rolando and John. Show us your sexy spooky bones. No, wait, don't do that. Just rate the movie.
I'm going to give FD5 6 sexy spooky bones.
I'm trying to recall what I rated the first Destination movie because I think you're right. This is probably the second best one.
I'm probably wrong, but I feel like we each gave it like a 7 or 8 or something like that. Like
7 or 8, yeah.
Than we thought, yeah.
And because I like the second one, it's not perfect, right? It's a little aged, a little dated, and the story gets a little convoluted, right? And
I feel like it went too balls to the wall, and like let's not, because it was directed by what's his name, right?
Ellis,
R.I.P. Yeah, but so it's too focused on that.
Yeah, it seemed like a little more actiony, less horror,
kind of goofy almost, yeah.
And even they saved the wrong character, right? L.A. Lighter came back, but not Tim Sawa.
So okay, the second one I think started the franchise being more slapstick comedy, and I will say the first one and FD5 are not comedic, really. I mean, there's moments you can find humor in, sure, but.
Right. I think you're right. Yeah. And there's actually a return of a funeral scene, right? Like we hadn't had one in quite a bit of time. That was like sincere. There wasn't any dumb, like whatever, you know. It seemed grounded for the most part, right? So yes, I'm going to give it a 7.
Nice.
Yes. Really enjoyed this movie.
Score too, 7. I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a nice little ending, a way to end the series. You know what I mean? If they never make another one, which they are, it kind of ends in a good place, and it pays homage to even the bad ones in the series. They kind of are paying homage to it, and also twisting the story a little bit and adding new things to it, which I think which are all recipes for like a great sequel. Is what most you can expect from a sequel are those things. So I would give it a 7.
You know what I keep forgetting? The second one actually has 2 people survive.
Yeah. Never talked about again. Yeah.
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 Anyway.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we say goodbye, what do you think of the Final Destination franchise? Just your overall thoughts.
It's God. I mean, I'm surprised I'm saying this is probably the most consistently evenly paced franchise we've reviewed.
I think overall this franchise is like, I think everybody knows this franchise, right? As a horror community, everybody knows what this is, but I still feel like it's underrated, undervalued.
Because I would say everybody knows this franchise for sure, but probably the same logic as me thinking like, oh, it's all trash. Like, who cares about these movies? But this is like way better than I thought it would be. This is if we're going, I was gonna say pound for pound. What's the equivalent of that? If we're going like
for like, or
per capita film, right? This is probably surprisingly on par, if not a little bit better than the Halloween series. But you can't beat the first Halloween, right?
Right.
But once you get past like 3, like it get really fucking bad.
Yeah.
And then the Nightmare on Elm Street series, like, oh shit. But at least the first like 4 were really good.
Every now and then, yeah, like
3, the first 3.
It's almost like every other movie was good, right? Like every in the Nightmare on Elm Street, until they're just bad, just consistently bad. But yeah, I would say the same. I think that they are consistently are kind of the same. We're in no way we're saying that like they're great or anything. There's
perfect,
some bad acting, some bad whatever, bad CGs, a lot of stuff like that.
Fun,
but they're fun and they're entertaining and at least they're consistent. It was a surprise in how consistent this series is, right? The whole franchise.
This might be controversial, but I think this is a better franchise than Paranormal Activity.
I don't know. I mean, they made more money. So,
that's what I mean. I think people really love that franchise, and after we reviewed them, I'm like, I think for the wrong reasons. It's like, this is not very good.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like the formula of those movies kind of, you lose the formula there. Yeah. At least it's this one. It follows the formula, and at least the way they try to invert it, there's always like new ideas and stuff like that with it. So overall,
and you did hear one last thing. You did
Sure.
hear that the director talked about the bar was so low because people had already chalked off the Final Destination movies as being bad, that he felt like there wasn't any real pressure to make a good movie. But the more he tried to make a twist and like you said, kind of give homage to the first one, the more he was like felt the pressure to make a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, from this series, Roger Ebert famously called the series the Dead Teen movies. Yeah. You know, and I think that's true for the sense, but if we're talking just like entertainment value and rewatchability, I feel like this is an easy franchise to enjoy.
Yeah, like I'm kind of disappointed I didn't just buy all the movies because I was like, fuck it, this is like a fun series.
Right. Great. Alrighty, so that ends our annual spooky special, you know, as it's 100 degrees right now or something.
Like, God,
global warming's real.
Right now,
yeah. Alrighty, that ends another of our specials. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, thank you for listening, and as always,
stay spooky and don't mess with Death's design. It's me, Tony Todd. Come on!